Hi, I'm Chris with Conscious Pathways. He who returns from a journey is not the same as he who left. Chinese proverb. Before we step into Rip's final chapter, we'll pause for a special bonus episode, a journey beyond the Catskill Mountains and across cultures. In episode 10.5, we'll explore global stories that echo Rip's awakening, from ancient Japan to Germany, from the Middle East to the sacred hills of Jerusalem. These tales remind us Rip wasn't alone. This path of awakening, of leaving and returning, is written into the soul of humanity. And so let's step softly across time and place to the misty shores of Japan and to a story whispered in waves and memory.
Long ago, on the coast of Japan, a humble fisherman named Urashima Tarō cast his net each morning and watched the waves for signs of change. One day, he came upon a group of children tormenting a turtle. Moved by compassion, he stepped in, rescued the creature, and returned it to the sea. The next morning, as he prepared for another quiet day of fishing, a magnificent turtle approached his boat, larger than any he had ever seen. It spoke. It told him he was being invited to the Dragon Palace beneath the sea, a place of great beauty and peace, as a reward for his kindness. Urashima accepted, and he descended into a world unlike anything he had known. Days passed. Soft music, delicate food, the gentle presence of Princess Tohime, who welcomed him with gratitude and grace. Time felt like a dream, but eventually a longing stirred in his heart. He missed his village, his family, and the shore. The princess gave him a small lacquered box and warned him, "Take this with you, but never open it." When Urashima returned to the surface, the village was gone, his home vanished, his family long past. 300 years had flown by. In shock and grief, he opened the box, and in an instant, his body withered, aged, and turned to dust, as the years caught up with him all at once. It was as if the weight of time had been waiting, held in silence until he chose to face it. In some ways, Urashima's story isn't just ancient myth. It's what happens when we awaken after years on autopilot and find that life has moved on without us. Like Rip, he had returned, but not to the world he remembered, and not as the man he once was.
In the shadow of the Roman Empire, during a time of persecution, a group of young men fled their city. They were faithful, devout, refusing to renounce the beliefs. Chased for their defiance, they sought refuge in a quiet cave in the hills near Ephesus. Exhausted, they fell into a deep sleep, and as the legend goes, they did not wake for a day or a year, but for centuries. The world changed while they slept, and when they awoke, the empire that had hunted them was gone. The cross, once a forbidden symbol, now adorned temples and city gates. As they stepped back into society, confused and weathered, the people could scarcely believe it. The sleeper's return became a sign, a symbol that the soul, protected by grace, can transcend time itself. They were not just waking from sleep. They were waking into a world transformed and into versions of themselves that had never been seen before.
These stories span continents and centuries, but they share a thread of gold. a journey away from the known, a forgetting, and then a return, but not to what was, to what is, and who we have become along the way.
Whether in myth, miracle, or memory, this path repeats itself again and again. Rip, Urashima, the sleepers, they remind us that awakening often begins with disorientation, and that what we call the end may simply be the start of remembering. If you've ever felt like a stranger in a world you once knew, you are not alone. These ancient echoes remind us the soul has always known how to return.
In our next and final episode, we will rejoin Rip in that unfamiliar village square, searching for a sense of belonging in a world that no longer recognizes him. And maybe, just maybe, discovering something truer than what he had left behind. We hope you'll walk with us as this chapter comes to a close.